Wembley Stadium is centre stage, and after 915 matches in this season's FA Cup, we've reached semi-final weekend. Tomorrow, Chelsea and Manchester City will battle it out. Today, Lions from South East London will face the pride of a small Lancashire town. It's Millwall versus Wigan Athletic. It's a great day for both clubs, but who's going to grab the glory and win a place in the final? It's not just for this weekend that all roads will lead to Wembley. Over the next 6 weeks, the stadium will host the climax of the Football League season with the playoffs, the 132nd FA Cup final, then the best in Europe will arrive for the Champions League final. For today's FA Cup semi-final, Millwall fans have had to travel just 14 miles from South East London. Wigan fans were on the road from very early this morning to make the 200-mile trip, and both sets of fans are hoping for a fairy tale ending to the day.
It's a story you think you know. Two teams of heroes bold, brave men with such dreams, a tale so often told. Do you recall the mighty lion's roar? With great skill they have unlocked the fabled door, and onto hallowed turf will step those 11 in a row. To sing aloud, we're Millwall, we fear no foe.
That's what we do!
But listen, what new music comes this way? Take heed, those steadfast Latics have come to play, to stamp their claim upon mighty Wembley. So far have they progressed, with such ardent unity. Behold the sacred silver cup, behold the glittering prize, as old as green England itself, and it glitters before our eyes. It is every wish on every star that ever did come true. It takes pride and passion to win this game. Now that we always knew.
16th in the Championship, Millwall have arrived as underdogs. But having played in the 2004 FA Cup final, they could become the first team in a century from outside the top flight to reach 2 FA Cup finals in 10 years. In the FA Cup with Budweiser, Millwall semi-final opponents, a Premier League Wigan Athletic, kick off in just under 45 minutes' time. Premier League Wigan have never played in an FA Cup semi-final, never played at the new Wembley. For a team that was bottom of the Football League 18 years ago, it's been a remarkable journey that's left their loyal fans pinching themselves. It's Kevin Keegan and John Barnes in the ESPN lineup. There's been a lot of talk of empty seats. How about celebrating the fact that it's not about tickets sold, it's about goals scored, and the fact that Wigan and Millwall have won through to the FA Cup semi-finals?
Absolutely, that's what the semi-final brings. That's what the FA Cup brings, because, you know, it epitomises hope for all the small teams to know that they can experience days like this. And there's not another country in the world that has that. All the cup competitions in Germany, Spain, Italy, it pales into insignificance in terms of winning the league. So the FA Cup gives them an opportunity here to come out to Wembley. What a day this is, fantastic.
And the fans will treat everything with humour as always. And here in the stadium, we know that Wigan have been making pundits look daft for a long time, and the empty seats are on tour for this year, Kevin.
Well, we've been making ourselves look stupid for a long time. We don't need the fans to help us. We don't need the fans to help us. But, you know, it's a great thing. I mean, you look at, people talk about maybe Wigan not taking the full capacity. It's only 80,000 people in and around Wigan. It's not a massive city. So when 20-odd thousand of them come down here, that's a quarter of the town, you know. So obviously, you know, that is really a massive commitment.
And despite the rain, gentlemen, despite the rain, it's not going to dampen anyone's enthusiasm. There's a sense of occasion about what can be achieved.
Well, of course, you know, the FA Cup final is where we all want to be. And of course, in the old days, you didn't play the semi-final here, but nevertheless, the semi-final is a fantastic occasion no matter where it happens to be. And the fact that it's Wembley even makes it more special. So as much as Kevin mentioned the fact about Millwall fans, about Wigan fans, you got 30,000 Millwall fans who are turning up, you know, for this occasion.
And people say for the elation of winning a semi-final, the despondency from losing in the semi-final, wherever it's played, is quite intense.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've been in a losing one and a winning one, and the winning one's certainly better. But I think coming to Wembley for a semi-final, at first I was against it, but now, as you sort of got used to it, I think it's a fantastic thing. And for Millwall, when you think the administration not long ago and Wigan not long in the league, it is really a massive day out for the fans that they'll never forget.
OK, let's hear from one of the players, hoping the result goes his way today. In the Millwall dressing room, there's great belief. Team's in decent form. The midweek defeat was their first in 7. And over to Rebecca Lowe now, who spoke to Alan Dunn.
Ray, thank you very much indeed. Well, Alan, first of all, what are the emotions for a man who's been at the club for 11 years to be here at Wembley in an FA Cup semi-final?
Yeah, finally here. It's been a long time coming, this semi-final. We've had 6 league games in the meantime, so we're finally here. We're anxious. It's been a long 2 days waiting for it, but we're here now. We're excited, and we look forward to getting football on the way.
What about you personally? Because everyone knows you were at that 2004 final, but an unused sub. So what does it mean to you today?
Yeah, I was only a young boy. I was on the final, disappointed not to get on. It was a huge day, and it was a fantastic day for the club. And no one thought we'd ever do it, get to the final. And today we got a chance to get into a final again. And being at Millwall for so long, it'd be great to do it and finally play a part in it.
Is it a case of taking this opportunity, not letting it pass you by? Yeah,
we got to not let the occasion take us over. It's a huge game, and we've got to do the work on the field and let everyone enjoy the day. But the only way we're going to enjoy the day was by winning and concentrate on winning the game.
Is there pressure on Wigan today, Alan?
Well, they're the Premiership side. We are the underdog, and no one expects us to win today. So but we got a chance, and we're capable of winning today.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you. Well, let's get the all-important team news now. Our commentator, John Champion.
Well, both sides were keen to keep the build-up to this monumental semi-final, in their terms at least, as normal as possible. The Millwall side was kept tightly under wraps until shortly after lunch today, when Kenny Jackett named this lineup. It shows 3 changes to their last league game. They lost in the 94th minute against Sheffield Wednesday at the Den on Tuesday night. The big calls: Liam Trotter fit enough only for the bench. He's got a knee niggle, so Jack Smith anchors the midfield. And further forward, veteran striker Rob Hulse is dropped, and that means the main goal-scoring threat comes from Andy Keogh, even though he's not scored in his last 14 games. As far as Wigan are concerned, one alteration, but a noteworthy one, in goal, where the Omani international Ali Al-Habsi replaces the Spaniard, the on-loan Joel. The rest of the side, familiar from recent weeks, it's the same outfield players for the 5th game running, the same players, therefore, that snatched a very late point at Queen's Park Rangers. Only Jean Beausejour of those players displayed there has played at the National Stadium here at Wembley before. The weather conditions, by the way, just a note on those, it is tipping it down. The players won't complain at that.
Final word from Kevin Keegan and John Barnes. Stay up and win the cup. That'd be decent for Wigan. Listening to Roberto Martinez and also Dave Whelan. Dave Whelan's contribution, in a way that sort of proves that he had a dream of the ambition of taking the club from the lower reaches right to the top, and he's done it. That's something for everyone to applaud.
He's done an incredible job, and his relationship with the manager is absolutely key. A lot of times, other clubs this season, we've seen it, they panicked when teams get in trouble. He's never panicked. He's never sort of said to the manager, hey, you've got to go, mate. He stuck behind him. He knows him well because he played there. And he's a wonderful manager because he inspires players.
OK. Who's going to win and why? Can you make a case for Wigan to win, of course?
Well, from Millwall's point of view, I think they have to forget about the psychological disadvantage that they're under in terms of talking about Wembley being a big open spaces and it favours the Premier League team who passes the ball. It's a football pitch. It may be 5 yards bigger than Millwall, but it's a football pitch. They've got to forget about that. So I'm not saying it's Wigan's to lose, but if Millwall can come and have a good look, the fans will be behind them. So that's the case I can make for Millwall. The fans, they play with a lot of intensity and desire, but Wigan will be the favourites.
Kevin, I sometimes believe that the nearer you get to kick-off, in this Millwall dressing room, they'll think it doesn't matter who we're playing. The nearer you get to kick-off, 11 versus 11, and they will absolutely think they can upset the odds here today.
I think they will fancy their chances. You won't hear them say it publicly, but I think Kenny Jackett and all those players in there, they'll say, what an opportunity we've got. Of course, Wigan have got a great opportunity as well, and we've said that, but for these players to get to a final at Wembley, it's a dream come true, you know, and they're capable of doing it, and there's no doubt they've got enough in that dressing room to do it if they all stick together and they stick to the game plan.
You often hear the phrase north-south divide. How wide is it? We're about to find out.
Passion, desire, strength, pride, guts, determination.
Come on, Wigan!
We've got to not let the occasion take us over. It's a huge game, and we've got to do the work on the field and let everyone enjoy the day. But the only way we're going to enjoy the day is by winning.
Playing at Wembley and in the semi-final of the FA Cup is a dream that you got as a child, and they need to do that. Just enjoy that dream and enjoy the football.
It's the beauty of the FA Cup, but we've come across every hurdle very well, and we're looking to go one better today.
We're going to look forward to the challenge, and as long as we can play our own game, we should get the result that we need.
If we can get to the final of the FA Cup, the whole of this town will be so proud.
Are you looking at me?
That's what we do!
Come on, you Lions.
Believe, speed, sweat. Millwall, Wigan.
It's Millwall of the Championship versus Premier League Wigan Athletic. Not that the FA Cup pays much attention to who plays where in what division. The essence of the competition, over 750 clubs threw their hats into the ring. 4 are left standing. Millwall and Wigan are 2 of them. And Craig Burley and John Champion are ready to guide us through this semi-final.
A day of contrasts. London versus Lancashire. Lions against Latics. Football League taking on Premier League. Gritty urbanites and provincial pie-eaters. An occasion of geographical and cultural differences, and despite a few empty seats, a game that arguably means more to these teams from the shadows than to the well-practiced visitors who will follow them tomorrow. If tomorrow's semi-final is all about a pair of Goliaths, then today's is an audition for the role of David in next month's final. Having said that, one David has already had his wings clipped. It had been widely suggested that Wigan owner Dave Whelan would lead his team out. However, the FA's semi-final protocol allows no room for such niceties. Millwall, the underdogs, but not here just to make up the numbers. Wigan, odds-on favourites, and following a well-trodden path for sportsmen from the Lancashire town. Wigan Athletics Rugby League cousins have played 22 Challenge Cup finals beneath either the Twin Towers or the Arch. It's a sellout at the Millwall end. 32,000 followers at the west end of the stadium. Wigan have sold round about 22,000 tickets. That is a figure that has been criticised, but as Roberto Martinez rightly points out, it represents more than a quarter of the population of the entire town. Dan Shittu leading the parade of handshakes. Millwall having knocked out Premier League Aston Villa and non-league Luton en route to this semi. Kenny Jackett makes 3 changes to his last League 11. Midfielder Liam Trotter's knee problem limits him to the bench, so Jack Smith comes into that area of the pitch. James Henry is back on the wing, having defied an injury that Millwall thought had ended his season. And a big call up front, no starting place for veteran striker Rob Hulse. Andy Keogh leads the line.
Well recovered there, Millwall in both their games against Blackburn in the quarter-final. I thought they impressed. Certainly be a great battle. Beavers and Shittu, 2 big strong defenders against a Rooney Coney who is also big and powerful. Lowry, the left-back, likes a challenge. It's in midfield, I think, without Trotter on the side, they lose a little bit of that energy. St Ledger's really a defender there, and this side do lack goals.
One notable change for Wigan. Ali Al-Habsi is recalled in goal. Joel is now the regular Premier League keeper, according to Roberto Martinez, so Al-Habsi would play in the final if Wigan win. The defence, 3 men, as usual, Shana, Alcaraz and Figueroa. 4 across the midfield with Boyce and Beausejour providing the width. Beausejour, by the way, is the only player in the Wigan side to have appeared at the National Stadium here at Wembley before.
Well, I think the return of Chandler's been a huge bonus. Also, Alcaraz coming back from injury, it sort of forced Gary Caldwell out the side, but it does give him a little bit more solidity. I think the key here is obviously McCarthy, who's been excellent, and Sean Maloney popping in behind the Rooney Coney will be a big threat.
Those in reserve, in Millwall's terms, they will look possibly to Hulse and to Nathan Tyson, fit again after a lengthy injury, to turn the game if they need it. Franco Di Santo providing firepower among the subs for Wigan. Well, one awful tackle notwithstanding, it's been the FA Cup that has given Callum McManaman a platform to excel this season. Goals in the last 2 rounds at Huddersfield and Everton. Millwall's main problem, a lack of goals. Andy Keogh has picked up the baton as the man most likely today, even though he's gone 14 matches without a goal. Meeting of the 2 captains, Emerson Boyce and Dan Shittu, a man who is emblematic for Millwall and whose shout into our camera at Blackburn, "That's what we do," has become a battle cry for the South Londoners in this cup run. Kenny Jackett in charge of Millwall for the 300th time today here at Wembley, and facing the man who used to be his captain at Swansea City, Roberto Martinez. These sides have met before at Wembley in the Auto Windscreen Shield final of 1999, when Martinez missed out through injury and Wigan won in stoppage time. Michael Oliver, the youngest semi-final referee ever. Rain teeming down, it began before 3 and is forecast to last until after this game is finished. The ground staff didn't water the pitch, safe in the knowledge that their job would be done for them. Pre-match togetherness exhibited by both camps. And they will be playing with the new FA Cup match ball today, the Nike Maxim, in use for the very first time. A guttural roar from the Millwall end. A rather more polite cheer from the Wigan counterparts at the other end of the stadium. The Lions of London against the Latics from Lancashire. Millwall in familiar dark blue. Wigan wearing their first ever colours from years ago of red, or vermilion, as the kit suppliers wish it to be described. Here's Jack Smith finding Keogh for Millwall. Jimmy Abdul. Sean St Ledger helping it on. Chris Taylor. Taylor and Henry both fit again after reasonably lengthy absences. Lowry's ball in. Up went Keogh.
Yeah, Alcaraz just got caught under it a little bit. It's interesting because it looks like Wigan have gone to a back 4, which is something they have done. Alcaraz and Shannon with the 2 centre-halves. So Figueroa will go back to his more traditional, more natural left-back position, John. That'll give them 4 across the middle, with young McManaman wide right, Beausejour wide left, and Maloney, as I said, at the top, just the ability to float in and around.
David Ford, Millwall's last line of defence. Paul Sharner. McManaman. Here comes Gomez. Jordi Gomez is through. The block was by Mark Beavers. Minor Figueroa. McManaman. Easy target for some boos from Millwall's fans. Odds-on favourites with the bookmakers. wins today will be rank outsiders come the final. Gomez. Beausejour. League Cup winner with Birmingham in this stadium 2 seasons ago. McCarthy. Kone. Boyce. McManaman. There is Jack Smith. Manager Kenny Jackett has told his team to leave nothing in the dressing room, have no regrets. That Wigan potentially can do with their slick passing game on this spacious pitch. Both sides have been to Wembley before. It's a 4th visit for Millwall. A 5th for Wigan, which dates all the way back to an FA Trophy final in 1973 in their non-league days. Callum McManaman, McCarthy. It's Beavers, who joined Millwall on loan initially from Sheffield Wednesday earlier in the season. It's now a permanent move. By Alan Dunn.
I think the reason for Wigan probably going back to the more traditional back four is to make sure they don't get overrun, John, in midfield. With Jack Smith being in there with 2 in front, they overrun Blackburn in quite easily, actually, although the scoreline wouldn't suggest it. They dominated midfield, and I think Roberto Martinez is mindful not to allow them to get a foothold in the game.
Well, they've switched between a back 3 and a back 4 in recent weeks, often changing within the course of matches. But it's from situations such as this that Millwall will look to profit.
Yeah, especially like, say, Beavers and Shitu. Physically very big.
James Henry with it. Shitu was waiting, it didn't reach him. It's the longest serving player, Alan Dunn. This cued back heel by St Ledger.
Oh, that was really unfortunate because Figueroa had taken such a poor touch here. There was a definite corner kick, but I think there's just enough contact. He certainly made the most of it there, Figueroa.
Kone. Millwall uncomfortable with some of the championship results today, which means they're now just 3 points above the bottom 3 in that division. Form hasn't particularly suffered through their cup exploits. 2 wins, 2 draws and a defeat since their quarter-final replay win at Ewood Park. They need certainly 1 more win and maybe a couple of draws to go with it to be sure of playing at the same level next season. So that's a worry for after today. Shitu has placed the ball with some purpose. It was deposited into the Wigan end without any great ceremony.
I mean, to be fair to him, he's actually a very good striker of the ball. For those people that watched the quarter-final, which ended up in 180 minutes, especially in the first game at the New Den, he hit one from further than that, John, and it was heading into the top corner, so the Blackburn keeper plucked it out, so he can do it.
Henry. Dispossessed by Figueroa. Beausejour. Maloney. Chris Taylor. So Wigan corner.
No, a really tricky customer, Sean Maloney. He's having a fantastic season, floating behind strikers, playing wide, and he's going to be a real handful for Jack Smith today, playing in front of the back four. Technically a sound player. Of course, got that fantastic free kick to get Wigan a point last week at QPR. Maybe a very valuable point.
Maloney with the corner. Out by Shitu. The great delight of the Millwall supporters. McManaman. Maloney. Kone. Maloney trying to burst through. Maloney. Corner.
Yeah, he did well there, Jack Smith. And I tell you, you don't want to get one-on-one with this fella in the box because he's one of the best. This little trick here, a little step over, and you can see Smith's a good yard and a half off. Just doesn't want to get too close.
Kone stationed a yard or so in front of David Ford, but trying to block his progress from his line. Beausejour. Shana didn't get purchase on the header. There's Emerson Boyce. Lowry's header. Keogh's volley, and here's James Henry. And Chris Taylor's made a determined run. Henry. Millwall have a lucky charm on their bench. Prominent sports writer Michael Calvin, a childhood friend of Kenny Jackett, has been invited along to bring them luck. Primarily because, having written a book about Millwall, he was on the bench when last they were at Wembley, when they beat Swindon at the playoff final 3 years ago. You can read all about it tomorrow in The Independent on Sunday. Was asked as to whether that was a back pass. His answer was pretty clear. Away to Maloney. Off goes Aruna Kone. David Ford out decisively, taking a blow to the face.
Yeah, I think Beavers actually shows a good turn the heel here. He's good turn the pace. It's Taylor that gives it away, square ball. That's a no-no. Look at Coney go, but Beavers is just quick enough. Gets in there, keeper. Ford is out as well, takes a crack on the face. Listen, FA Cup semi-final, you get down, you do whatever you need to. It's good defending from Beavers there. Taylor leg just catches the very experienced David Ford on the face.
Showed himself to be a really good goalkeeper, David Ford. He's now Ireland's #1, praised to the skies by Trapattoni. Played in 5 internationals this season and has only conceded 1 goal in 5 FA Cup ties so far. And he needs the attentions of Bobby Bakic, the physio.
thing I noticed from the last corner kick, John, when Sharner almost got a run on Beavers, was that on that corner they didn't put anybody on the post.
Millwall change of corner taker. It's Gomez. Millwall need to pick up Maloney. Martinez, who seems to regard every game of football rather like a grandmaster would regard a game of chess. Kone. Gomez. McCarthy. And McManaman!
I think just getting a little bit too much space in that area. And there'll be no surprise to see, and that's a good save, to see Wigan dominating possession as they are.
Taken short and quickly. Figueroa. Jack Smith. Ford really extended for the first time and still feeling that blow to the head.
Yeah, I think it's a good save. I think it's quite comfortable. He sees it, he gets plenty of time to see it, and then gets two strong hands to it. But it was a good strike from McManaman. Good link up from Wigan again. They've got it down. The surface is suiting them. They're flexible in their rotation. They pass it well.
It is a horrid day out there. Not necessarily bad for football, but not great for spectating. Oh, mistake by Paul Sharner, or was it? Referee has said a foul, which came as a considerable relief to Wigan.
Well, I think that's what Kenny Jackett will be saying to Andy Keogh. Look, you're playing up there on your own. At times you might be isolated. I want you to put pressure on at all times. That's really, really soft for me. I mean, there's hardly any contact in the arm. I think he's very lucky there, Sharner. Gets away with one.
Right start to the first of the semi-finals of the FA Cup with Budweiser. Premier League Wigan, Championship Millwall. Kone. Bosajor. Jordi Gomez sliding in with Smith. There's Figueroa. So far so good for Kenny Jackett. And for Millwall, although they've had to soak up a reasonable amount of pressure.
No surprise, Wigan dominating possession. I think that was something that Millwall will have talked about at length, building up to this game. I think Kenny Jackett was saying, don't worry about it, just make sure you keep your shape, keep your discipline, and you will get potentially your opportunities.
Shane Lowry, the Australian. Picked in by Keogh, it would seem. No. Oliver got his assistant signal. 6 years since Mr. Oliver first refereed here. Plenty of ponchos, very necessary today. When you look at the two managers getting wet, they're in a different category. There are no ponchos for the head honchos.
When you remember your big day out at Wembley, and always, when you're a kid, it always seemed to be sun shining, but it's certainly not that way today.
To follow in illustrious footsteps of lower division teams to reach an FA Cup final. They did it themselves in 2004, albeit they went to the Millennium Stadium. Cardiff the last to do it in 2008. Last lower division team to win the cup, West Ham, 33 years ago. archives to find the names of Sunderland and Southampton. McManaman. It's another corner kick. In the one goal in the FA Cup this season to Aston Villa's Darren Bent. Maloney, voice rising but not as high as Shitu. Gomez, McManaman, and Smith. It's a pretty tidy performer. Handball. Millwall free kick.
Just on a couple of occasions, a little warning for the two centre-halves in Millwall, Shitu and Beavers, is that when Coney's been dropping a bit deeper, John, the two of them have squeezed up and actually left the two full-backs about 3 or 4 yards behind them. Now, if Coney spins in behind, then he's going to be onside. It really has to be the opposite way around. Full-backs are going to try and be ahead of the centre-half so that they can squeeze at some point. I bet it was a nervous wait for this fella to see whether he was going to play or not, Habsy.
He was dropped. 4-0 home defeat by Liverpool last month. Joel, the Spaniard, has made the #1 spot his own, even though he's only on loan from Atletico Madrid. Roberto Martinez confirming to us before kick-off that Habsy is now the cup goalkeeper. And Joel will play in the remaining Premier League fixtures. Henry provided one of the abiding images of the FA Cup season when he was pushed virtually into the jaws of a police dog on the pitch at Luton Town by his teammate Alan Dunn, who's about to take the throw. Nice of him.
That was a friendly dog there.
I didn't notice many friendly dogs that day. In terms of numbers in the stadium, it's clear both to hear and to see. Quite as marked as the last Wembley final between these two, the Football League trophy back in 1999, when in a crowd of 55,000, 47,000 were backing Millwall. Here goes Keogh, and Al-Habsi used the bounce, it did favour him slightly. McManaman. A rather agricultural challenge from Sean St Ledger. First yellow card of this semi-final.
Well, shows a good turn of pace here, and well, he certainly has been a lad who's been in the headlines recently after his horrendous challenge on Haidara at the Newcastle game. It could be described as nothing else, and that's going to leave St Ledger on a bit of a knife edge. He is effectively playing a defensive role. He's a defender by trade, playing in midfield. But Wigan got out of jail there because Alcaraz played a hospital pass across his back four. And Wigan were on it like a flash. Only the surface, John, allowed it to skip through to Al-Habsi.
St Ledger. Telegraph ball. Picked off by Shana. It's great to see Wigan playing in red, but it is how they began life in the 1930s. These colours once this season, and they got thumped whilst playing in them at Newcastle. Koenig. James McCarthy. Maloney. McCarthy. And the Catalan, Gomez. Chilean, Beausejour. Honduran in Figueroa. Spurs Jour. Sarcastic applause from Alan Dunn.
Yeah, he got too tight there, John. He didn't have to get as tight as he did, and Joe just backed into him. That's experience for you. Felt the contact over, he went.
Just waiting for Shana to make his way forward. She's doing slowly. He's on the edge of the area now, ready to attack this. Maloney, and the back towards Boyce. Picked out of the skies by Ford. Third game at Wembley for Millwall's keeper. He played in both their playoffs. 2009, they lost to Scunthorpe. 2010 they beat Swindon. So it is a third visit in 4 years for a number of the players and quite a lot of the fans. Wigan, by contrast, haven't been here since the year 2000 in the playoff final against Gillingham. Kone. Wigan in the cup semi-final, and a spot of role reversal applauded by the man whose cup final was cut short by injury. Kone, normally a goal scorer, the provider. Maloney, normally a conjurer, the man to take full advantage.
Well, I talked about Jack Smith. Look, he's picking up Maloney there. He's about a yard from Maloney, gets sucked in front of him a little bit. Now Maloney's goal side. He's got a run on him. He's onside. It's a great pick out. I mean, it really is. It's the one you dream of. And well, I talked about the quality of this lad. I've seen it since he's been a youngster at Celtic. It didn't quite work out for him at Villa, but it's certainly working out for him at Wigan Athletic. He's arguably been their best player, John. Carved them wide open there.
Consummate yet economical finish by the Scotsman. He follows up his 94th minute equaliser. Queen's Park Rangers by outwitting the likes of Jack Smith and steering in a goal, just as he did for Celtic in 2 Scottish semi-finals.
Well, it's a really difficult one for Smith because he's trying to watch the game building up. He thinks he might have to go and press. Not quite sure. He was aware what was behind him, and the answer to that was not a lot because the centre-halves were out of position. They were sucked across. But they've been the better side, you would expect that, but it was quality. It was Premier League quality, from the ball from Kone to the finish from Maloney.
Only the second goal that Millwall have conceded in the Cup this season, and the first of Sean Maloney's career. Chris Taylor. St Ledger. Oh, and he dallied too long. There was a moment there when James Henry had a chance.
Well, he's got to get it out his feet sharpish and get the strike with the right foot, or he's got to let it run across his body. Gomez does well to get back in. I think the option there was to let it run across his body, John, onto his left foot and take the strike. He obviously wasn't confident in taking that route on. Well, that was a great chance to answer back to that Maloney goal. It really was.
Wigan, the 79th different club to contest an FA Cup semi-final, joining the likes of the long-forgotten Shropshire Wanderers and Derby Junction. They would be the 56th different side to reach a final. Millwall will have plenty to say about that one, I suspect. Kone. Maloney. Scotland have got to a magician right now.
Yeah, we don't have many game changers, John, at the moment in the national team, but he certainly is worried. He's also one that Gordon Strachan knows very well from his time at Celtic, so we'll keep his fingers crossed that this continues.
Back 4 up. Boyce jumping there, Shana.
Shettle deals initially with the challenge from Boyce, and Very difficult when you're going away from goal to get any power.
It's the Millwall end in the distance. The goal we're looking at now, the Wigan supporters who have rather more to cheer them. Corner, something for Millwall to cling on to. Danny Shitu is on the case already. Millwall's first opportunity to really involve their captain in aerial combat. Difficult man to miss, but still a difficult man to stop. They can also use him as a decoy. Referee not happy. Taken again.
It's the old goalkeeper scenario again in the blocking, and it's Andy Keogh. And he's got every right to make a nuisance of himself. You know, why let the goalkeeper come out and take a clean catch? You can see Gomez is trying to shield him, but he's going to have to make it difficult for him.
Henry. Chris Taylor coming in with his header. Done. McCarthy.
Oh, an unlikely winner of the header. Chris Taylor, not the biggest one, picked up by Jean Beausejour, but I just wonder with set pieces if it's arguably the best avenue for Millwall to get something out of this game.
FA Cup semi-final to be played at Wembley. The 11th since it was rebuilt. The first ever semi at this stadium 22 years ago tomorrow. Gazza's free kick. He was a Comoros Islands international. They are the 15th worst team in the world. Group of islands in the Indian Ocean. So as not to denigrate Jimmy Abdu's contribution. Off goes Beausejour. Ford a little late setting off. Got there in the nick of time.
Yeah, it's tough to save them there. The tipping rain, because he had a change of mind. He backed off to his goal, and then he realised that he dealt with it well in the end, but it was a bit of indecision. Could do nothing for the goal. Great finish from Maloney. Kept it low.
The bounces to Ali Al-Habsi, the former fireman from Oman. Five Barclays Premier League games completed today. Significance to Wigan. Aston Villa drew. Reading drew and Queen's Park Rangers lost. So there's not really a threat coming at them from below. There are two teams beneath them in the table. They are level on points with Sunderland, 3 behind Villa and Stoke. Just to be even-handed after today's championship results, Millwall are 18th, 3 points clear of the bottom 3, but with a couple of games in hand.
And I think crucially for Millwall, John, a lot, I think the last 3 are certainly the bulk of the games are at home towards the end, aren't they? At the new den, so they should be okay, put it that way, in the championship.
Venom. Wigan leading through Sean Maloney's goal in the 25th minute. Shana, the Austrian that was plucked from Hamburg's reserves to return for a second spell at the club in January. Now the Paraguayan Alcaraz. The Barclays Premier League action on ESPN 2 weeks today. Live coverage of Newcastle versus Liverpool from St James's Park, and then in 4 weeks' time join us for the FA Cup final itself. It's an early kick-off for our programming and will be advert-free from teams out to the lifting of the famous old trophy. Making something of Precious Little. Jack Smith. Dunn. Keogh. Chris Taylor. Sean St Ledger has got forward. Jack Smith was lurking too. Dunn. Solid challenge with Alcaraz.
Well, they actually got a 2-1 there at the back post, but Emerson Boyce defended it very well, made sure he was tucked in. Decent ball in from Taylor.
James Henry. This is a heartening tale. Suffered a serious knee injury at Leeds 6 weeks ago and was told he wouldn't play again this season. Thanks to sterling work from the medical staff and a lot of rehab on his own part, he's made it back much earlier than expected. Shitu didn't quite reach St Ledger. This kicked by Lowry. First time that Michael Oliver has handled a tie beyond the 5th round of the Cup. Still only 28, the referee. Bosachur. Gomez. Took back by Abdu. McCarthy. Shitu. Lowry. McManaman. Twisting and turning his way past Lowry. Millwall's American chairman, former Marine John Berylson, with his wife Amy. His home is in Boston, Massachusetts, but he sees at least half of Millwall's matches. Shano. Ledger for Millwall. Yes. Figueroa. Millwall struggling to make too much of an impression as an attacking force. They've got through a lot of defensive work, reached just the once. They set up Maloney.
There's no real respite for Millwall at the moment. McCarthy just sitting in there. When the centre-half steps out, he drops in. And when Alcaraz are trying to get the sail back in, McCarthy, like he is now, just picks it up and distributes it left and right.
Flair and finesse in the Wigan lineup. The more prosaic qualities displayed by Millwall. There's more than one way to win a football match. Millwall certainly won't be found wanting. When it comes to effort and commitment and organisation, they need to hope they can add the odd moment of inspiration to the mix. Jordi Gomez, Bosijor, Aruna Kone, Callum McManaman. Well, he scored in the last two rounds.
Well, let's have a look at the difference between the sides at the moment, and it's, you know, two of Wigan's flair players. Well, flair and power if you look at Aruna Kone, but he's got a bit of everything. And well, Maloney would have been a player that Kenny Jackett would have really highlighted. He's been at the heart of everything that's been good about Wigan this season, including end product there.
When Millwall have struggled, it's for goals. In their last 26 games, they found the net only 23 times. Two leading scorers still are Darius Henderson and Chris Wood, both of whom have left the club. Kone. Fine effort, good save. Jordi Gomez denied by David Ford.
Yeah, he came on late to something similar like this in the quarter-final at Goodison, and he chucked that one right into the corner on that particular occasion. It was a bit of a demolition of Everton that day. It was a real, I think, shock to the system. It was a comfortable save for Ford, but they're just getting a little bit stretched, Millwall, and ragged at the back at the moment.
Time would be welcome for Millwall. Smith. Boyce. Chris Taylor tackling back. And then Jack Smith emerging with the ball. McCarthy comes back at him. Andy Keogh. Smith. St Ledger. Done. Henry. Taylor, lifelong Oldham Athletic fan, from which he joined Millwall last summer. Oldham have stamped their imprint upon this season's FA Cup as well. Keogh, referred to Rob Hulse by Kenny Jackett today. St Ledger. Martinez is the furthest he's gone as player or manager. It was the 5th round when he was in charge of Swansea. And his FA Cup debut in the unlikely surroundings of Canal Street, Runcorn, shortly after signing as one of the so-called Three Amigos back in 1995, and he marked his cup debut with a goal. From the 4th official, how long will be added? We're being told 1 minute. Taylor again. Here's Keogh. No one in the middle for him. Now Taylor's getting there. So too is Abdu. That came last off Sean St Ledger.
Yeah, I mean, I think they are going to have to take some risks, and from this type of position here, where he's onside, maybe Figueroa did well not to clip his heels, but once he turns here and with no pressure, they've got to get more than that into the box, Millwall. They've got to get bodies in there.
Done. Last few moments of a well-contested first half. Wigan have certainly had the better of it. Will know to take this quickly. It's Henry. Done. To Loft, Taylor. Well, the whistle goes, and Wigan lead deservedly by a solitary goal, set up by Aruna Kone, finished very smartly on the volley by Sean Maloney. His first FA Cup goal. He likes semi-finals. He scored in 2 of them north of the border for Celtic. And it's hard to argue with a half-time scoreline that shows the Premier League side in front. Millwall 0, Wigan Athletic 1.
70% possession for Wigan and a well-worked goal that gives them the lead. And next up, we'll ask Kevin Keegan and John Barnes how Millwall are going to get back into this semi-final. Millwall 0, Wigan 1, half-time scoring today's FA Cup semi-final. It's raining and your team is losing. No wonder you're crying. And this Lion doesn't look very good. Over to Kenny Jackett, the Millwall boss.
Kenny, what were the messages you've just given to your team in there?
We have to keep concentrating defensively. They have a lot of possession, and when we do get our chances and our options around the box, we have to make them pay. It's those 2 things that we really do need to concentrate on.
Did you feel that you were penetrating them enough at the other end of the pitch that far?
Maybe not. We got into good areas and perhaps didn't do enough. Having said that, they did score a very good goal. It was an excellent run by Kone and a terrific finish.
Any changes in mind yet?
Not at the moment, no.
Thanks, Kenny. Good luck.
Well, Millwall will believe they can get back into the game. Let's see how this develops. Second half about to kick off. Roberto Martinez will be instilling into his players. Don't give them any chance. Back to Craig Burley and John Champion.
Well, the boxing promoter Frank Maloney is one of Millwall's most vocal and prominent supporters, but it's Wigan's Sean Maloney that at the moment is spoiling his day. Very well taken goal after 25 minutes. Millwall with a cup semi-final to chase. No changes by either side at half-time. No watchable semi in the first half, albeit with Wigan for the most part on top. Wigan's first ever semi-final, of course. St Ledger sustaining a problem on the apron of the pitch within seconds of the restart.
I think he might have twisted that left ankle there. Yeah, just gets caught under him a little bit as he makes the challenge on Gomez. And this may force Kenny Jackett, who, just talking a minute or so ago, wasn't quite thinking about changes just yet, but of course you're looking at somebody like Liam Trotter, who, like you were mentioning earlier, John, he's not quite 100% fit, is he? But I think when fit, he can get box to box and maybe add that little bit of extra guile that they've been lacking.
St Ledger is back on now. Moving at his best. On your screen there. Take a blow on that same left ankle in the first half as well, which would have helped. Here's Shana. And Gomez. Wigan, who've been living something of a fairy tale for a generation and a half. Left away on the door of the Football League. 34 unsuccessful applications to become a league club, and even trying to join the Scottish League at one point. Finally accepted in 1978. It took them 17 years to get out of the bottom division, and look at them ever since. McManaman. To be called underdogs in the 132nd FA Cup final. Shane Lowry, Aston Villa man. Keogh. He just clipped on the left heel. Protests falling on deaf ears.
Yeah, I think the studs of Beaver's boots have taken the left boot of Coney off. The Beavers took a risk there because he got wrong side, and if Coney hadn't rolled him, he'd had a free run down the channel.
Shitu. Kenny Jackett with a new jacket. At least that one's dry for the time being. Ledger is down again. He is in the wars. And there is activity on the Millwall bench now. Gomez for Wigan. You joined us late. The explanation. They're playing in their original club colours from the 1930s. To you and me, red. To the stylists who designed the kit, Vermilion. amongst the obvious replacements. The former Ipswich midfielder. St Ledger can't continue. Maloney. McCarthy. This is Figueroa. Quickly in on him was Jimmy Abdu. Good hero with the Millwall fans, Abdu. McManaman. Done well, McManaman, in everything except the finish.
Well, the angle was very much against him. Coney had given him some sort of option by dropping deep. He very much reminds me of Maloney, you know, the way and his movement and the quick feet and stature as well. I mean, I think sometimes when you see him get on the ball straight away from the position we're in, you've got to look twice to see if it's not actually Sean Maloney, just the way he moves the ball around.
Well, a burger, not a pie for a Wigan fan. Gomez clipped.
Yeah, it's St Ledger that catches him, and I think by that shot, I think he feels he's made a little bit of a meal of it. He's definitely high.
St Ledger, the one player on the pitch who's on a yellow card. McCarthy. Here's Maloney, scorer of the only goal so far. Shana. Kone. This meeting between these clubs for 8 years. Shana. Presented to Abdu. Beavers back to David Ford. We'll need to summon up the spirit of yesteryear. Legendary figures. Wore the shirt with great pride. Harry Kitchener, Harry Cripps. Biggest to strike fear into visiting opponents to South East London, Terry Hurlock. May not have been cultural ambassadors, but they knew how to play football to best advantage.
I remember Big Terry when he went to Rangers, he mellowed slightly.
That's a relative term, I presume.
Just ever so slightly. Teddy Sheringham, Tony Cascarino, another two. You know, Teddy very clever player, and they were a great foil for each other as well.
McManaman. What they do say about Millwall's supporters is that they can spot a phony a mile off. Appreciate players whose effort is wholehearted. Official attendance is to hand 62,335. It's the thick end of 30,000 below capacity, and by a distance the smallest crowd for a semi-final since the rebuilding of Wembley. Supporters of using Wembley point out that it's more than could be accommodated at most other grounds. It's the 6th of a 30-year arrangement by which both semi-finals will be played at the National Stadium. It's really only Old Trafford they could have gone to, which would have accommodated this crowd. Here's Andy Keogh. Keogh thought that was going to be a corner. Is aghast when he turns round and sees a goal kick has been given.
Well, he got in the little pocket that Boyce had pushed on the right back, and good play from McCarthy there. I think it came back off. It came back off Keogh last, just a little clip off him. So Michael Oliver was correct, but it's difficult to see looking at Millwall just where somebody's going to give them that little bit of quality, that little bit of guile to create something.
Emerson Boyce. Manaman there. Manaman, who had received a 3-game ban for that Aida challenge, would have been completing his suspension today. As it is, he's here winning free kicks.
Yeah, he's having a good game, Manaman. Very direct. Smith just gets across him. It's quite a blatant block. He just got there in the nick of time because in a split second it was inside the penalty area.
Gomez. Bosajur. The roar goes up from the Millwall fans. And they have this noise, I can't describe it any other way, that they call the Monk's chant, which is a guttural roar that grows. It's their signature tune, if you like. It's Kone. Getting heavier. There's McCarthy. Bosajur. Maloney. Linking the play with Gomez. Those two again. Neat from Jack Smith. Ledger, who's battling on despite a dodgy ankle. Chris Taylor. Down he goes under the challenge of Boyce, and a chance here for Millwall.
He's quite clever there, Taylor, because he shapes the shoot and then just watch the left leg just goes across. Just there, just initiates the contact after St Ledger slowed the pace up a little bit, and that just allowed enough Wigan bodies to get back in.
Ali Al-Habsi is beginning the process of lining up a wall, and Wigan will be aware of the set-piece prowess of Millwall's number 14, James Henry, whose credits this season include scoring direct from a corner in a league game at Blackpool. And he is their main free kick taker, and he's back from injury in the nick of time for today.
And he's far enough outside the box here, John, to I would say that's a perfect distance to get it up and down, not too far out, and certainly not too close. I think this is ideal for him here. It's quite a big wall.
James Henry then.
Bit tentative, I would say there. Just a little bit guidey in this. Pretty straight as well.
James MacArthur with Graham Jones, the assistant manager. MacArthur, a central midfielder. And he's going to replace Bosajur.
Just stick Maloney a little bit wider then, and McCarthy will come on and partner McCarthy. Two lads from but not too long ago we're playing for Hamilton Academicals in Scotland, and what a change of scenery this has been for them, and this is for them.
So a double dose of J Mack in midfield, the Premier League side. MacArthur, who contributed with a goal in the win at Huddersfield in round 5. Wigan having also put out Bournemouth, Macclesfield and Everton en route to this semi-final. And their team has metamorphosised as they've gone along. To start with, it was a mix and match side. Only 4 of those that played against Bournemouth in round 3 are involved here in the starting 11. There's no nonsense. Alan Dunn. And it's left a casualty on the floor. Figueroa. Figueroa is still down on the edge of the Millwall penalty area. Now he's picked himself up. It looked a heavy challenge.
Well, it was, but it seemed fair enough from where I was, and it's, yeah, the momentum takes him through. There's no intent, I don't think, there.
Jack Smith, the brother of Tommy Smith, who served Watford so well and now is at Cardiff. MacArthur. Version of a vuvuzela.
Looks like it.
Ledger, Keogh, Taylor, Alan Dunn, Keogh lurking, almost for Millwall.
Just behind Keogh, well defended, very well defended by Paul Sharma.
Millwall supporters getting behind their team vocally again. Still full of hope. Here's Henry. Taylor wants it in the middle. They'll have to wait for a corner. Over Beavers, came off the head of Boyce. A header that caused problems for Al Habsi. Down and up and over, Mark Beavers.
Well, this is a much better spell for Millwall, just applying pressure. A little deflection here. Oh, he's going to skip off the surface as well.
Goalkeeper left pretty helpless. Henry. Shitu.
Well, they're hanging in there, Millwall, and that's what they have to do, but they're just posing a little bit more of a threat. Gets up very early here. Shitu well above his markers, but the difficulty is he's getting the direction from there.
Smith. Abdu. Lowry. Millwall are going to turn to their bench. Rob Hulse is going to come on. He'll replace a midfielder. Jack Smith. Taylor. Henry. Millwall more threatening now. And Sharna heading it behind, taking no chances.
Second time in the space of a minute or two, he's had to bail it out, getting bodies forward. Look at the space Taylor's got there on the penalty spot as well.
Millwall's best spell of the game.
Absolutely.
And up goes that familiar chant again. Henry. Beavers and Shitu. And then Lowry appealing for a corner. It's a goal kick that's given.
Well, I think there was that many bodies there as Shitu got up. You can see it. He heads it off. I think it's Emerson Boyce. He heads it off. And then Coney's not aware of what's around about him. Got really lucky.
Just about time to start turning your thoughts towards a potential Budweiser man of the match in this semi-final. That is how you register your vote for that award. Rob Hulse was downcast to be left out of the starting 11, but now he gets his chance to stamp his mark on this showpiece occasion. Jack Smith disappointed to be hauled off, but Rob Hulse has a lengthy goal-scoring catalogue, 130 senior goals, but only one in his last 18 appearances. Done. Mark Beavers. Shitu. MacArthur. Done. First touch for Hulse. Abdu.
I think between them, Hulse and Keogh, and we were talking about it earlier, John, they're not exactly in a great goal-scoring run, and if there was ever a time for a return to form for that pair, it's now.
It's their last 34 appearances combined, and one goal between the pair of them. Shitu. Shitu has been with two Premier League clubs without appearing in the Premier League. Watford and at QPR. He believes he can play at the highest level. Time may be running out at the age of 32. Hulse. Keogh. Two of them linking promisingly. And Keogh felt he was just tucked back a little bit. Not enough for the referee to give anything.
Yeah, it was Maloney, but there was no real remonstrating from Andy Keogh as the Millwall fans behind that goal get to their feet again. They can just sense there's a little bit more hope now with the pressure.
St Ledger.
Sudden it's Wigan, John, that are not doing everything that they've been doing well up to this point, and that's keep the ball and pass it.
Abdu. Pitch is a little heavier in the central area now. It's cut up a bit with all the rain. But Millwall have found a new breath of life here. It's Keogh. Feels for hands against Sharna. Referee unmoved.
Well, he went to ground. I'm not sure how much he would have known about it, John, and it was very close to him as well. Problems here for them, though.
Kone and Gomez. And St Ledger doing the tidying. Millwall feel they've been done an injustice. They think they should have had a penalty. Maloney. This semi-final opening up now. Draw Millwall sting. McManaman doing well, just a yard behind Aruna Kone. Shaunson Ledger, borrowed from Leicester. At the moment his loan wouldn't allow him to play in the final if Millwall get there. Kone. McCarthy. After such a frenetic period of Millwall attacking, Wigan more or less happy at walking pace. McManaman. Henry. So what about that penalty shout?
Well, I did think at the time that he had already gone to ground. You can see, and I think it comes off his side first, and Kenny Jackett's looking straight at it. He'll take anything at the moment, but I honestly don't think. No, I don't think it was. I mean, where else is he supposed to put his right arm? The claims from the crowd, but they're a little bit for long.
Liam Trotter on in place of Jimmy Abdu. Fresh legs in the engine room. Millwall beginning to get some joy against their Premier League opponents, who still lead through that first half goal from Sean Maloney. Roberto Martinez hoping to lock horns with either Manchester City, who Wigan face in the Premier League this coming Wednesday, or Chelsea, who were Wigan's opponents in their first ever Premier League game. And the final on the 11th of May. Millwall, as befits their history and their tradition, fighting valiantly here. Maloney with a bit of space in which to work. McManaman trying to find an angle. Maloney, St. Ledger. There's MacArthur to James McCarthy. Read by Lowry. Trotter. Keogh. Blocked off.
Yeah, a bit soft I felt there. Andy Keogh, I think, just asking the question. When he went through 10 seconds ago or 20 seconds ago, I think his heels might have been clipped a little. It was one of the few times the ball up to Coney that Coney was waiting on it, and Millwall get in and won it back.
Figueroa. There's Gomez and Maloney here in support. McManaman. Gomez. Side netting.
I say, I think whenever Maloney and McManaman get on the ball, John, there's just so many danger signs. The Wigan lads, I think both sets of players with the heavy pitch to do with the rain are feeling the pace. Big pitch here at Wembley, heavy surface today, are heavier than normal. McManaman, when he's coming in off that left-hand side, is, well, he's giving Alan Dunn palpitations, because he's just frightened to make any sort of challenge.
MacArthur. FA Cup meeting between these two in 1935 at Wigan's old Springfield Park ground. 24,000 shoehorned in to see Millwall beat Wigan then in the Cheshire County League by 4-1. Maloney. McManaman. The cover is Beavers. Against McManaman. Our next live Barclays Premier League game here on ESPN comes from St James's Park in a fortnight. Newcastle against Liverpool doesn't often disappoint. And then 4 weeks today, the 132nd FA Cup final is an all-day event on this channel. A breakfast time start for a tea time kickoff. Chris Taylor for Millwall. St Ledger going up, it came off the head of Alcaraz, and Millwall have a corner kick.
Well, they're certainly making Wigan Athletic work for this. This narrow, slender lead that Maloney gave them is increasingly coming under threat.
St Ledger, away by Gomez. Whatever happens, at least Millwall won't go home tonight thinking they didn't give it their all. Maloney. Jordi Gomez. Clever ball. McManaman! The FA Cup has been his route to prominence. He scored at Huddersfield, Everton, and now at Wembley. And that could be the goal that brings Wigan Athletic back for their first ever FA Cup final.
Well, if it was about Maloney in the first half, it's certainly, for me, been about this fella McManaman in the second. Maloney starts it off here, Gomez picks it up, and then I'm afraid, I think it's Alan Dunn steps out to the wider player. He's not a problem. You've got to tuck yourself in. Love the little ball. It's a simple ball, really, but Millwall, and especially the right back, got absolutely sleeping. The keeper's exposed, and it's a super finish from a player who I think has had an excellent game. And at a time when Wigan were coming under a little bit of pressure, I think that's the nail in the coffin. I think that sealed it, John.
For the first time in a season, Callum McManaman has scored as many goals as there are syllables in his name. And it looks like another Wembley visit for the Latics. A player rightly criticised for one dreadful tackle, but to counterbalance that, a rapidly emerging footballing talent.
Yeah, absolutely, and saw him come on against Liverpool when they got absolutely pasted at home, but he was lively then, and there was lots of shouts for him to get in the side. You mentioned that tackle, he's got to put that behind him, learn his lesson from that. In terms of his football here today, Maloney and McManaman have been a class apart at times with their control, with the movement, with the problems that they've caused. But you can't go to sleep against these kind of players. Alan Dunn got dragged out to the wider player. He wasn't the danger. The danger was facing him and he didn't see it.
And that goal ends what has been a purple patch for Millwall, where they've come so close on a number of occasions to equalising. Here's Henry. Is that the end of the dream or not? Hapsey did his own defender, Shana. Chris Taylor. Floating one that was tipped away by Al-Habsi. Arcing towards the far corner. James Henry. St Ledger. More pressure on the Omani goalkeeper who tips it behind. Protest, but it is a corner.
Yeah, I think he tried to just a little sly one to the referee there. This was the better one out of the two for me because Andy Keogh was floating in behind, and the second one he's just had to deal with it just scooped up there, I think, asking a couple of the players, go and smash him, asking him a question, a little fingertip on it.
Millwall now need something, and they need it soon. Goalkeeper did better under pressure. So a sore one for Callum McManaman, caught inadvertently by Chris Taylor.
Yeah, he's unfortunate here. I mean, I've got to say that's excellent keeping again from Al Habsi as he punched it out under pressure. Taylor thinks he's going to have a strike here. He's lined it up for the shot, and I think thankfully from McManaman's point of view, it's not about 6 inches higher.
It's sad to report that there are one or two pockets of disorder amongst the Millwall supporters at the west end of the stadium. That's the left-hand end as we look. The police and stewards are having to move in.
It's really shocking, John, because as the game's been going on, we've been sort of semi-keeping an eye on it, and there was kids in there as well, and there was at least one kid. And women, it's just not on. It is not on.
Here's Boyce. Gomez. It's a lovely ball that set up McManaman's goal from Gomez. Kone. St. Ledger. Down by Holtz for Trotter. Trotter. James Henry. Nearly fell kindly for Holtz. McManaman skipping away from Alan Dunn. The figure you'd expect from a 21-year-old who's just scored in a cup semi-final. I didn't mention the crowd disorder. It's not our intention to glorify the idiots perpetrating it by showing them. For those of you concerned about it, rest assured that the pictures will be passed on to the relevant authorities. Gomez. Well, there is still one last opportunity to register your vote for the Budweiser Man of the Match in this first FA Cup semi-final, and that's how you do it. A few candidates, particularly on the Wigan team: the flair of Maloney, scorer of the first goal, the industry and finesse of McManaman, probing passing of Jordi Gomez. And then a few on the Millwall team as well that have put in really impressive shifts.
I think Millwall have been all about endeavour, and that's what you would expect, John. And they certainly haven't lain down in this match, but you know, that the quality's been there for all to see. And you're right about Gomez. He's had an impressive game as well, Jordi Gomez.
Yeah, sadly, you can see the effect on one or two of the spectators of some of the violence that's broken out just in small areas of the crowd. Overall, the presence of this huge Millwall support has added immensely to the occasion. The vast majority have behaved impeccably, sung their hearts out, backed their team.
there's going to be massive. I mean, we must talk about football, John, but there is going to be massive repercussions here for what's going on in the far corner. It would put you off going to football games, honestly. It's scary.
On the pitch, a goal kick has been given. Well, you can see again some of the results of what's happened, and amidst all that there have been women and children trying to scurry away.
It would make you sick to the pit of your stomach, John. It would.
Here's Kone. The knees of David Ford.
Who could do nothing about both the Wigan goals, was exposed for the Maloney one, was exposed again for the McManaman one.
Maloney, short. Taking on Hulse, Wigan. And a corner. Well, the decision that you have made regarding the Budweiser man of the match is Sean Maloney. Goal scorer, general puller of strings, very impressive display on the big day.
Yeah, hard to argue against that, although I think McManaman has run him close along with several other Wigan players, but he has been the guy that set them off and running.
Gomez. Wigan trying to seal it. There's going to be a nice change by Millwall. Sean Batt is going to come on, who's a striker, just returned from a loan spell at Leyton Orient. Came on the other night against Sheffield Wednesday. That was very impressive, and I'm afraid it's got to the stage where we have to show you some of the scenes, simply because they will be all over your morning newspapers. And I have to say, having had quite a bit to do with the people that run Millwall, I feel for them, because they have worked so hard on the image of their club, which is being damaged again by a comparative handful. Boyce. Boyce again for Wigan. Enriquez. Shana. Goes Millwall's way.
Well, you've got to give Wigan great credit. They set this game up by a demolition at Goodison, really, that really took Everton by surprise early on. A little girl in there as well crying. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous scenes here, and it's, I've got to say, but let's get back to the football. Wigan, everybody will say Chelsea, Man City, the winners will be tomorrow, will be the winners of the FA Cup, but you can't with this side, Wigan. They're so unpredictable on the day. They can be very, very good.
Wigan's presence will ensure that the FA Cup final will have an unpredictable element to it, with the genuine possibility that if Wigan have a good day, they could cause serious problems for either Manchester City or Chelsea.
Absolutely, John. Absolutely. On the day, they're a good side. They have their bad days, they come along every now and again. When it's bad for Wigan, but they've been very professional here today. He's got his tactics spot on, Roberto Martinez, going back to the back four, getting Maloney in behind Coney early on, did all the damage.
McCarthy. Late by Alan Dunn. No repeat of a final experience for him, even the experience of sitting on the bench she endured in 2004. The gentleman has just stolen a policeman's helmet, hidden it under his jacket. Figueroa. Enriquez. Again, Enriquez, the Chilean on loan from Manchester United. History will show that Millwall gave this a real good go, particularly in the second half. Wigan were very much in first half control, weathered the storm, and there were quite a few squalls provided by Millwall, and then broke clear to score a second goal. The referee's yellow card is coming out again, and unsurprisingly it's Shane Lowry showing his memento, seemingly proud of his work. But back on the pitch, Lowry booked for the 14th time this season.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Millwall players because we've got to give them credit as well. It's been a gritty run to get here to the semi-final in a season where they haven't played particularly well in the Championship. It's not been easy for them, and they've given their all. They've just fallen a bit short here today to a Premier League side that have played well, John, and Wigan thoroughly deserve to be in an FA Cup final, and boy will they enjoy it.
A great prospect for Wigan Athletic. Millwall, from the entire Football League Championship, have fallen one step short. Maloney. Figueroa, and there'll be quite a few Wigan fans pinching themselves at this who followed the club in the Northern Premier League, because Wigan Athletic are through to their first ever FA Cup final. The friends and former colleagues on the touchline shake hands. The man whose FA Cup final was cut short so cruelly by injury 53 years ago salutes from the Royal Box. Sean Maloney, one of the match winners. The Latics from Lancashire will return to Wembley to play the role of David against one of English football's Goliaths, either Manchester City or Chelsea. Previously, they had treated the cup as something of an unwelcome distraction and tended to go out early. It's only the second time they've gone past round 4, and in fact, Dave Whelan's club, as he receives the congratulations of the chairman of the FA, David Bernstein. Dave Whelan's club have gone all the way. Wigan's owner can complete his unfinished business, dating back to that broken leg in 1960. He will get his chance to lead them out on Cup final day. Aruna Kone, who led the line with such verve and such wit. We can hear from some of those involved down at pitch level by joining Rebecca Lowe.
John, thank you. Emerson, captain for today, longest serving player at Wigan. You're into the FA Cup final. How does that sound?
It's amazing. It's a dream come true. The whole club, the fans. People give us sticks about the fans, but the fans are excellent today. And I want to say thank you to the chairman. Too many people to say thank you to, but it's a magnificent achievement and we can't wait for the final now.
A word for your chairman and for your manager today.
Yeah, the chairman has been a long time waiting and finally given some success, get the Cup final. The manager's been excellent, the whole team's been excellent, and now we can just take it to the league.
And what about the game itself? Because up until that second goal, they started coming back at you, didn't they, a bit? Yeah, we knew Millwall was always going to be a tough game. We gave them a good opportunity, they could have scored, but we showed great character and it was a professional performance. So we're happy that we got the result and look forward to the final now. Emerson, thank you very much. And I'm going to bring in Paul. Sean, I'll let you go and celebrate. Paul, your second spell back here at Wigan, did you ever dream that it would get you to an FA FA Cup final?
It's unbelievable. We are in the final, and I think the chairman deserves it most. And look all the Wigan supporters. It's amazing.
How tough was the game today?
Yeah, especially the second half, of course. Millwall tried to get the equaliser, but we stood firm and could keep a clean sheet, and I'm so happy we reached the final.
Manchester City or Chelsea? Who you want?
It doesn't matter. Final is always tough, and both teams are very strong.
Thanks, Paul. Well done.
Shana, who also played for Wigan in a League Cup final in 2006 against Manchester United. And the supporters who have swelled in number from less than 2,000 when Roberto Martinez joined the club in 1995 to more than 20,000 at Wembley today can look forward to the biggest showpiece of the lot in 4 weeks' time. And what must Dave Whelan be feeling? Graham Barrow there, the man who signed Roberto Martinez as a player all those years ago, one of 3 Spaniards recruited when the club was at one of its lowest ebbs. Dave Whelan had just taken over at that stage. The man whose career was finished by injury, who used his compensation payment to buy a market stall in Wigan, which he sold to a supermarket chain. He used the money from that, as we see Paul Shana with his unique brand of celebration, used the money to buy a sports store which he built into a hugely successful chain. And the rest, as they say, is history. Unfamiliar colours for Wigan. And they follow in the footsteps of their rugby league cousins who played in 22 Challenge Cup finals at the National Stadium. Their first visit was in 1928. At last, Wigan's football team will get the full Wembley experience in front of a watching world on the biggest day of them all. 4 weeks today, Wigan will return for the 132nd FA Cup final.
Congratulations to Wigan Athletic. What a story. To think that they were in the bottom tier 2 decades ago. Now they're a top flight club. They've been to 2 major cup finals, the League Cup, and now in 4 weeks' time, the FA Cup final. Sad to say, the behaviour of a section of Millwall fans will generate headlines that we thought, we hoped, were a thing of the past. Terrible scenes here, but let's hope that doesn't spoil the day for Wigan Athletic and their team, who had a remarkable performance to win through to the FA Cup final. Kevin Keegan, John Barnes, well done Wigan, eh?
Yeah, these people here, they're going to have some weekend, and you know they can do it all over again. And the 220 miles back down to home, where they're from, there in Lancashire, won't seem very far tonight. They'll be flying.
Fantastic occasion, great day for Wigan. I think what it really showed was the golf in class and ability when Premier League teams play at the very highest level against the Championship teams.
Congratulations to Wigan. This year's FA Cup final is set for May the 11th, and cup final coverage here on ESPN will be advert-free from kick-off till after the trophy is presented to the winning team, and Wigan will play Chelsea or Manchester City. Lots more reaction to come on the back of Wigan's win today. 2 great goals. Well done, Wigan. Shame on the minority of Millwall fans who let everyone down. But the day is Wigan's. Sad to say, a lot of headlines will be generated by scenes in the second half when we saw the Millwall fans start fighting with each other. Let's just stress, it's a minority of fans that have... Well, Millwall have done so much to try and improve their reputation. They're a tough club, but when you see scenes like this and the police, the Metropolitan Police, being beaten back, and women and children crying in the stadium. And these are selected images, we should say. There are other images that we could show. We are not going to show. We will, of course, pass those on to the authorities. But in the second half of an FA Cup semi-final, and in a way, does this represent a lot of what is wrong sometimes? This is someone who has stolen a policeman's helmet, no respect clearly for what is going on, having a laugh about it, thinks he's incredibly clever. And the section of Millwall fans that have been involved in these distasteful scenes today have let themselves down, they've let their club down, I have to say they've let their football down as well. Stuff we really didn't want to see at a football match and stuff that we thought were things of the past. It's a minority. We've got to stress that, of course. But this is a showpiece occasion. It's an FA Cup semi-final, and everyone knows what's expected of them. And the scenes, the fighting scenes we saw in there, and we haven't shown the worst of it, was disgraceful, John.
Absolutely. And of course, I'm glad that you stressed it's the minority, because I'm sure there were 30,000 Millwall fans, and 29,900 fans would have been impeccably behaved, which would represent Millwall Football Club. But obviously, you know, they had a hooligan when we played. That was probably commonplace, and we thought we hadn't seen it anymore. So we expected that it had gone away, but it hadn't. There's still a lot of work to do. So, you know, let's make the point that it is a very, very small minority.
Yeah, I feel so sorry for the people at the club, because I know how hard they've worked to sort of take this thought of Millwall in particular, but there's other clubs as well, and we know they are. But Millwall's had this reputation, and they've worked so hard to get it right. You come to a place like Wembley, a semi-final, what do you want? Just a real good atmosphere. And let's be honest, until that happened, the fans were unbelievable. We're down this end, the noise they made, they got behind the team. That 10-minute spell that they had, it was the fans driving them on, you know, for the 3 corners, 4 corners. Eventually they conceded from one. But, yeah, that was the only disappointment of the day for me.
Let's get reaction from the Millwall dressing room now. Here's their manager, Kenny Jack, with Rebecca.
Ray, thank you very much indeed. Kenny, why wasn't it your day today?
I felt Wigan were good. They were very good. We had a 20-minute spell in the second half where we had them, you know, on the back foot a little bit. Keeper made a couple of good saves, took some good crosses, and we needed a goal during that period to build on. But it didn't happen. They scored another one on the break, and it killed the game off. But you know, we put in a sterling effort today. I thought Coney was excellent, though. He gave them something else and really brought their midfield players into play. Scored, you know, they scored an excellent first goal, terrific turn and run, and has played it through.
Should you have had penalty second half?
Maybe. It's one of those where, you know, sometimes you get it. For us to win today, we needed that decision, perhaps that little bit of luck when you know, we had our, you know, going into our crowd, and, you know, when we had our spell, we did need that. And, you know, after that, when it didn't come, ball just didn't fall for us in the box.
How important is it now for you to refocus those players at the very busy end of season and trying to keep yourselves in the Championship?
It is, and that's the most important thing. We'd have loved to gone one further, but you know, realistically, I'm proud of what the players have done to get us this far. And now we have to focus quickly anyway, because, you know, we have 6 games before the end of the season. That's you know, 2 in hand on almost everybody, and we need to win some games sooner rather than later. So our focus has to, you know, go past this today and not show any disappointment.
Kenny, your club has done so much to improve the image of itself, but the scenes out there today during the second half of the fighting in the stands, did you witness them?
I didn't. No. It's the first I've heard of it. I didn't see or hear anything at all.
There was some women crying and children crying, trying to get away, and some blood was shed and some really bad scenes. So what would you? I know it's only the first time that you're hearing this. What would you say in response? I know it's hard, Ken.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's the first I've heard of it. I didn't see anything, or, you know, nothing's been brought to my attention. I've come straight out after the game, obviously with the disappointment of a loss. So, you know, before I commented, I'd need all of the facts and you know, some time to form an opinion.
Finishing on a positive, how do you reflect on your FA Cup run this season? A great achievement to reach the semi-final.
It is a great achievement. Ultimately disappointing, we couldn't go one further, but it is a great achievement. We've done very well, and you know, to get to Wembley, a club the size of Millwall, we've been here 3 times in the last 4 years now, and that's a big achievement.
We wish you luck for the rest of the season. Thanks, Kenny.
Thank you. Cheers. All the best.
Well played, Kenny Jackett. Dignified in defeat and diplomatic, and that's the right way to be at the moment, because the distasteful incidents we saw during this FA Cup semi-final will need to be looked at by the authorities. Yeah. But as Kenny said, Millwall have done so much to try and improve their reputation, and then this minority just let the club down.
But I empathise with Kenny, because of course he's then asked a question, and a lot of managers, when they say they didn't see it, we've heard so often managers saying they didn't see incidents. But I can understand why Kenny wouldn't, because to be fair, while we're here looking, it took us a few minutes before we could even see it, and we're looking from this angle. So, you know, Kenny did very well in not responding.
It's also on his blind side, John.
And it's on the other side.
He's concentrating on trying to get back into the game. But the authorities and the Football Association, this is a showpiece occasion that goes around the world, and we just need to keep stressing it's a minority. But we thought that these images were something of the past.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest with you, having, you know, been in football a long time, the police will know these guys. These won't be guys who've just turned up today and suddenly caused trouble. They'll know them. They'll know the names. They'll have pictures of them. And these guys, we don't want them near football grounds. You know, you see that little girl. That was the most shocking picture for me. That could be your daughter, my daughter, and she's crying. And what should have been a great experience, she'll remember that. and the fighting and seeing those guys punching each other more than she will the game, and that's the saddest thing.
But I've never ever thought it had gone away. You know, it goes on. It's like anything else. It's like even the whole issue on racism. I never thought it went away. The fact that you don't see much of it anymore doesn't mean it has disappeared. So we can stress that, yes, it still goes on, but we can see it's a small minority, and, you know, we have to obviously address it, and the authorities will. The good thing about it now is that, of course, because of the images and everything we see, they can't get away with it, and that's what we have to do. We have to make sure that the guilty ones are punished.
Next up, on the back of Wigan's success in the FA Cup semi-final today, we'll hear from their manager Roberto Martinez. 250 appearances Wigan as a player, and now he's the manager that's going to lead them to an FA Cup final. This is what it means when your team win through to the FA Cup final, the first in the club's history. And there's another happy man, Wigan manager Roberto Martinez, who's in the company of Rebecca.
Ray, thank you very much indeed. Well, Roberto, many congratulations. What does that victory mean to you and to your club?
Well, it means a lot, as you can imagine. It wasn't just the first time that we were playing a semi-final, it was the opportunity to play a final. It's a big achievement, and the players deserve all the credit. And the crowd, I know that we got a lot of people judge us by the numbers, but I think it's the quality of the numbers, and that meant a lot for everyone to Wigan Athletic.
What about the second half? Because it got quite tough in that last 45.
Well, we did expect that. I think you need to give huge credit to Millwall. I thought they competed until the very last second. I was very proud in the manner that we handled the set plays and the dead ball situations where they can be quite powerful. But I thought that to handle the tag of being favourite in a semi-final is tough for anyone, and for us with the lack of experience of being in these occasions, I thought we did that magnificently. And from young players to experienced players to today we had a real togetherness, a real enjoyment of our football, and I do feel that it's well deserved to get into the final.
2 huge contributions from Sean Maloney in a week now.
Yes, well, it doesn't surprise us anymore. I think Sean is an outstanding talent, and when you see him enjoying his football, is something else. He's one of them players that you will pay money to watch him playing. But I think today the effort of everyone to keep a clean sheet against Millwall at Wembley, you need to be alert, you need to be concentrating at all time, and I thought the team effort was magnificent.
Callum McManaman's had his critics this season, but he's turning into a real star for you, especially in this tournament.
Well, it's great to see that's what his talent all about. He's an attacker, he's not a defender, and as you can see, the way he takes the goal with a great composure, it seems that he's been playing at Wembley for many times, and that's what he brings into the game, a real rawness about his talent, someone that he can excite people, taking could 1v1 situation, and is a real finisher. So for a young man to show that composure and the way he handled with the whole situation, that I think has been very unfair on him. He was at the wrong time at the right time, but at the wrong place. But I think what we saw today is the real Callum McManaman, someone that's got an incredible future.
A downside for the whole day was the behaviour of some of the Millwall fans. Did you see any of that during the game, Roberto?
No, I didn't. They were mentioning now that there were some incidents, and that's disappointing. I thought the game in the pitch was exciting, was always something to be concentrating on, and it's a real shame when that happens.
And just finally, who is going to lead out the team now at Wembley? Are we going to see Dave Whelan do it?
Yes, finally we'll get our chairman leading the team out and just putting a bit of a full circle to his time at the FA Cup, and we're extremely proud of that.
Many congratulations and welcome.
Thank you.